Huge areas of the eastern states are preparing for more flooding, with up to a month's worth of rain expected to fall in some areas over the next few days. Severe weather warnings are in place this morning for northwestern Victoria, across the western half of New South Wales and into southern Queensland. Farmers are preparing for the deluge, but with many river systems already in flood, locals are wondering when it will end.
The severe weather system has already passed through South Australia, bringing wild storms, with the clean-up running through the night. We'll head to some of the affected areas shortly, but first we're joined by Sam Kearns, who's the Assistant Commissioner of the New South Wales SES. Good morning to you. I know you are very busy trying to sort out what is going to happen. Where are your crews going? What are your areas of most concern?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Lisa. Look, you are right. It is a very busy time for New South Wales SES. We are really concerned about the rain that started late yesterday and is expected to continue today, being followed up by a second front Friday and leading into the weekend. That's going to impact the western parts of New South Wales and southwestern New South Wales. This is going to impact communities that have already been impacted by floods over the last month or two. What we're going to see is significant amounts of rain, sometimes the monthly rainfall in just a couple of days, if not more. This is falling already over already saturated catchments. So what we are going to see is that water lead to rapid renewed river rises and potentially flash flooding as well. So we're particularly concerned around the areas of Gunnedah, Weewaw, Warren, Bathurst, Forbes, Gundagai and Tumut, and also Wagga Wagga as well. So we are asking the people out there to listen to the warnings being issued by New South Wales SES, and also to be aware that with the school holiday traffic, there are a lot of people out travelling around in areas that they may not be familiar with. So really take heed of the conditions. Be very mindful about caravan parks and camping grounds. They're often next to rivers, and they may see those rise up there. So take heed of any warnings and know what to do if it does start to flood.
Yeah, and Sean, we're already getting comments and questions coming in from people saying, you know, we're in Sydney, can we get to Dubbo? Is it going to be a problem?
Yeah, look, we'd encourage people to get the most up-to-date traffic information from live traffic, and that will be able to outline what happens there. We are expecting the Macquarie River to also get to possibly moderate and maybe even major flooding. So people who are heading out to the Bathurst 1000 this weekend, we would remind them to really take heed of the local conditions and follow the directions of New South Wales SES and our emergency service partners.
Yeah, and we say it every time, don't we, Sean? If it's flooded, don't drive into it. People still do. We just need to keep ramming that message home.
Yep, absolutely, Lisa. We've had one flood rescue overnight, and during this event, we've had upwards of 50 flood rescues over the past week or two. So we would just encourage people just to avoid driving through floodwater. Even if you think you know it, turn around, find another way to go, and best of all, just drive to the conditions.
Yeah, Sean Kearns from the SES, thank you.
Stay in the story and taken out of Western New South Wales, which is, of course, on high alert this morning. Reporter Romy Stevens joins us from Burke, and Ben Loughran is in Broken Hill. Good morning to both of you. Romy, let's kick off with you. What's happened where you are overnight?
Good morning, Michael. The rain has started to ease where I am in Western New South Wales after we copped quite a drenching overnight. I'm currently standing by the Darling River here in Burke, and it's not one of the major rivers of concern, but I must say it is quite high. I can see around the banks that there are trees, the trunks of trees that are partially submerged. There are also quite a few mosquitoes around, so apologies if I have to swipe them away, but we did see quite a bit of rainfall in this region overnight. The SES is saying that it mainly hit some of the more more rural areas as opposed to the major regional towns such as Burke. But there were some heavy falls around 11 o'clock last night here where I am. There are also reports of some areas copping around 30 mils since 9 a.m. yesterday. We'll start to hear more of those rainfall totals as the morning goes on. That massive rain band that was from southern Queensland all the way down to the New South Wales-Victorian border is now starting to move towards the east of the state. The SES says that some of the areas of concern will be more towards the central and southern New South Wales. And as we've heard, consistently this morning, so many rivers that there's flood warnings in place and people in these towns around here are on high alert.
So it's a pretty dicey outlook looking ahead to the rest of the week, Romy.
Yeah, we are anticipating multiple rain events throughout the rest of this week and heading into the weekend. There's numbers such as 100 to 150 millimetres of rain falling across the region. One area of particular concern around this area is Nyngan, which is about 2 hours south of where I am now. There are farmers and property owners around there who are preparing their properties. That sits on the Bogan River, which is one of the rivers that the SES is particularly concerned about. So yeah, there's plenty of people prepping their things and keeping an eye on the river. I've been speaking to locals through towns as we were travelling up here to Burke, and they're all saying, have you seen the river? Have you seen how high it is? So people really are keeping an eye on things at the moment.
Yes, and nervously so. Romy, thank you. Let's head over to you, Ben, in Broken Hill. What's the situation where you are this morning?
Good morning, Michael. So, much like our eastern neighbours, we got a lot more rain last night. It started at around 5:30 p.m. and continued on to about 10:30 p.m. But since then, it actually has been quite dry, and a lot of the major roads that were sort of experiencing semi-flooding, it has sort of subsided and gone into the wetlands behind me here. Apart from that, the rest of the day is meant to also have quite a bit of rain, and so is tomorrow. We experienced here in Broken Hill around 10 mils of rain last night, but more so as you head to the central Darling Shire and Wilcannia, they got about 28 mils, and stations further north of Broken Hill are experiencing about an inch of rain, which is about 25 mils. So that's how it is this morning. And yes, like the rest of the far west and western New South Wales, we are experiencing rain, expecting weather going into the weekend.
Hey Ben, what is the situation in nearby Menindee?
So in Menindee's a far west town just south, south of Wilcannia. They are sort of on alert, the SES there are on alert, because the excess water that will flow from the Darling River through Wilcannia into Menindee, into those lake systems, has put the town on a flood watch. The SES there has been on alert for some time, the SES being bolstered by volunteers from all over the state of New South Wales. So they are on alert for floods right now. There is potential flooding in the town because, as I said, those lakes are on capacity. Water New South Wales has tried to increase the outflows from the lakes over the past couple of months, but yes, right now they're kind of waiting to see what happens.
Ben and Romy in Burke, thank you so much for the updates there.